All right. Okay, I should be live now. Ah, welcome, sisters. Had some tech difficulties and I'm having some crazy interference right now outside my house. A lot of loud maintenance happening. So we're just gonna go with it though. And I'm gonna get started. So if you're here, can you let me know if you're here? And I want to make sure that it's streaming on Facebook because it wasn't before. All right, so here we go. I'll just give everybody some time to jump on and we will check out the chat. So I'm trying a new thing here where I'm streaming to multiple platforms at once. So thanks for bearing with me. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, sister. Okay, yay. So yeah, we're just gonna give everybody some time to jump on because okay, yay, it worked. Yay, my tech skills are noted here that I got it to work. So yeah, thank you so much, sisters, for bearing with me. God asked me to stream to my YouTube and to my Facebook because some of my clients and beautiful souls in my world are not on Facebook. And so yeah, streaming to YouTube allows everybody to join in. So if you're here, let me know in the comments. And we're gonna get started here and really start to open things up regarding the open house and hopefully you guys can't hear the crazy maintenance that's happening outside of my house. Like, there's literally a leaf blower guy who showed up with a gas-powered leaf blower as I was moving through the tech stuff. Like, I had to go shut my window, and now he's like right here in the breezeway. So I'm just kind of letting that be. And yeah, just asking God to help clear that and remove that distraction as soon as possible. Okay, so cool. I'm recording, we're streaming. Brilliant. So, all right. Supernatural faith wave. Just taking a moment to allow the energy to flow in. It's really interesting. I've been clearing opposition and interference for the last 3 days leading up to this open house. There's a lot of opposition. And so I've been clearing that and just really solidifying and fortifying the field and the space. And I can feel yeah, just the collective shift that's going to happen. And so there's been a lot of just interference and things kind of coming up, like this annoyance right now. Like I can't even really hear myself talk. It's so loud. So I'm just kind of like knowing it's going to roll through. This interference isn't going to be here forever. And, recognizing that spiritual warfare can come in when we are about to like do some really big shit. Okay. Like when we're about to really move through some big things and we're about to break through, this is when the warfare can start to heighten and come in. And so this kind of interference isn't anything that I'm unfamiliar with. It's just annoying. So I'm just going to take a moment here to let it pass through so I can be fully present with y'all. Okay. Right. It's crazy. He's literally like right outside my door right now. Hmm. Uria mashuya makasia riana lura siata sariata. Ushiata siama kuskara sabatuya shiata. Orianata sura shakatiata suriata. Mhm. Yeah. I'm just waiting for this to finish. 'Cause I really want to bring through the transmission, or I can fully receive and flow through. And this, I mean, there's a lot of AI frequency coming in too from this person who's on assignment to bring through a polluted, very loud disturbance in right outside of my sanctuary space here in my home. So I think it's a great opportunity to just talk about how what will happen sometimes, especially if you're in a place of leadership and you're about to facilitate a collective transformation for those that are in your community, is that there will be demonic forces sent on assignment to come in and to create disturbance, to discourage, to create just, you know, annoyances, irritations to slow it down. So I'm just going to sit here and like know that this is not going to be here. I mean, how long can someone stand with a leaf blower in front of your door? How much are you leaf blowing out there really? Like, what's really going on there, right? So I'm just inviting God and the guardians of the land and the spirits of Christ to come in and start to neutralize the experience of having that interference. And it's interesting because for the last 45 minutes, I've been gritting and praying over this transmission. Imagine if I didn't, right? And so I was bringing through all of these prayers because I felt all this opposition starting to come in. So this wasn't really how I wanted to start out this open house experience, but I feel like it's a teachable moment because when you're about to have a really massive breakthrough and you're about to like literally go to your next level within your embodiment and your ascension process, there will be opposition. That's just the way that it is. Even when you're like, I'm not available for that. I know I'm not open to any kind of interference or whatnot. It's like, okay, the truth is that there will be opposition even when you're not available for it. Like there is opposition. That's just the way it is, especially when you're a threat to the system, which what I'm about to hold and facilitate starting this week is a huge threat because there are there's over like 55 women who have signed up for this experience. So think about all of us gathering together and doing this experience and what that is a threat to. It's massive, especially because if you're here and you resonate with me, you're a powerful woman on the freaking path of divine feminine reclamation, where you are here to embody your highest power, sovereignty, gifts, and you're here to make an impact in this world. You're a way shower. So imagine 50 plus women who are way showers, who are here, leaders in their community, who are coming in to fast or to receive these experiences. It's still going on, by the way. It's still happening now for like the last 15 minutes. It's fucking crazy. But imagine like all of us coming together and like what that is a threat to and the ripple effect that's going to happen, right? So what's a way to like, well, they can't stop it because I'm still showing up, I'm still doing this. Like slow it down, bring interference in, and especially when unfortunately people can be used as dark portals. And like this person out here with the leaf blower, he doesn't know what's happening. He's just taking orders, right? That's how it works. When someone has demonic attachment, and sometimes some of these people, they're not even like real, they're NPCs that are just sent into the hologram, and that's kind of what I feel like is happening here. So I'm just expressing this because I feel like it's important. But the thing is, this whole fast and the faith wave is here to help you build spiritual authority. So that way, if you are encountering opposition and interference within whatever process you're doing, you have the power to recognize it, see it, and not feed it. And so I'm not feeding it, I'm just like observing it and also kind of laughing at like the ridiculousness of it. Um, okay. Peggy says, I see you, but no sound. Can you guys hear me on Facebook? Can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Let me know. Okay, thank you, love. Thank you, sister. Okay, what a time. So starting this out with some interference. Thanks for bearing with me. It's still happening, but it's starting to drift a little bit more. So, okay. So welcome. Today, this open house is really going to just invite you into the experience of what we're going to be doing inside the Supernatural Faith Wave. And I want to share some of my testimonies with you around these teachings, the power of fasting, and what it can really do for you and for your walk with God and your embodiment, and really what you're calling forth for this year and for the rest of your life to live out your destiny. Yeah. So if you have questions during this immersion or during this open house for the immersion, please put them in the comments and I will respond to them. I also made some notes. I've been getting a lot of questions around certain like collective themes that I've been noticing. So I'm going to answer those today and allow you to receive that and really just feel into the experience of what it will be like to enter into a 21-day immersion where you are being held and guided and supported in your own breakthrough process. So, my intention for the Supernatural Faith Wave is really to support your walk with God and allow you to come into deeper union with God through the teachings, transmissions, and codes that I'm going to be sharing. Whew. Okay, cool. So, throughout this experience with the open house, I invite you to take notes if anything sticks out to you and really observe how your body responds to what I'm sharing as we get deeper into these things. Because your body is like your ally during this fast and during this immersion, whether you choose to fast or not. This is really an opportunity for you to listen to your body and how God communicates to your body and how your somatic sensation body, like the true sophionic body, which is a felt experience. When you're in your sophionic body, you are experiencing and feeling, right? You can feel the Holy Spirit move through your body. Sophia is alive within you. And so the body is communicating that through sensations. And so it's about being with that and being present with that. So this is so crazy. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just witnessing how the interference is still happening. Um, yeah, that should be an indicator of what we're doing, right? One of my mentors always, shares, it's like, the bigger the interference, right, the bigger the breakthrough, right? So it's this dance that we do living here on planet Earth. And, there is a way to ride these things out and to break through, and fasting is actually a part of it. So I want to share a little bit about why I'm holding this and what God shared with me. And then we're going to get into some of the deeper things around the testimonies and what's possible for you. Because remember, if God does it for me, God can do it for you. And if God does it for another sister, God can do it for me or for her or for you, right? It's like, what is possible here? And we're all becoming these deeper living testimonies of God's miracles. And the miracle frequency is very much alive in the supernatural faith wave. I know some of you participated in the faith wave that I held in March of last year. And so this is part of that series. And you know that I talk about how faith is like a living substance that we can build in our bodies, as well as like dunamis power of building spiritual authority. And so the supernatural faith wave is really going to support you in building supernatural, like spiritual authority, and allowing you to be able to command authority in the room. And we do this through Christ, of course, in our relationship to Christ. So I'm holding this free experience because God asked me to. It wasn't something I was planning on. It occurred through a spontaneous download while I was fasting one day in November. And I was standing in my kitchen and I was fasting and praying, and God dropped in the download that I was going to be holding this. And I felt the power of the fast, and I felt all of you coming in, and I literally just started weeping because God was showing me the breakthroughs that he has in store for you. And Holy Mother was coming in and she was showing me she was showing me the softening of the feminine Christ body through this experience, and allowing God to, like the Lord, to do the heavy lifting, right? Allowing Holy Father to come in and really start doing the heavy lifting to honor the feminine. And so whatever your relationship is like with God, this experience is going to deepen it. And that is my prayer for you. And that whether you choose to fast or not, and we'll get to all the fasting stuff, that this experience is going to inspire you, elevate you, and allow you to deepen in with God in ways that you never have before, that really allow you to co-create your heaven on earth reality with God, because that's it. It's just like ascension and co-creating heaven on earth. It's all about your relationship with God, and everything becomes easier the deeper you go with God. So this is an opportunity to really lean in and treat it as though you've invested in this experience. I know it's really easy to like sign up for a free experience and then just kind of tap out or not do it or whatnot. And there's no judgment around any of that. I get it. I've done the same sometimes. It's like you come in, you receive what you need, and that's it. With this experience, it's going to be so powerful for you to see it through, because every day it builds, especially if you're fasting, or even if you're fasting some of the time. Like, the spiritual authority builds throughout the wave. The breakthroughs happen throughout the wave, and your consistency and devotion is what allows the power to build, and for you to receive more of God in your body, more healing in your body, and to allow more of the essence of the Holy Spirit to reside within you. So while it's 21 days, it's like every day is its own kind of portal, and then it builds. Okay. So I have shared a little bit about my fasting processes. You can read about it. I wrote a testimony about it over the summer. I did a 21-day fast last January. It was my first 21-day fast with God, and it completely transformed my life. It brought through miracles within the first few days. It completely brought me to new places of understanding who God is and healing my relationship with God, especially the Holy Father, and really allowed me to break free of shit that had been in my bloodline for a long time. It helped me break cycles. I was praying and and like holding intercessory prayer for others during the fast. We'll talk more about that too. They received miracles, like miracles. It was unbelievable. And that fast that I did last year, I fasted for specific things, and those things have happened. And some of them happened during the fast, and some of them happened after the fast. And it stretched me, and it allowed me to come into a space of sovereignty within my body, my mind, my soul, my spirit in a way that I never had before, because I was just so focused on God and our relationship and really learning what God wanted me to learn. And I received so much revelation. So that really set the tone. And then from there, I made a promise to myself that I would fast once a week, every week for the rest of my life. Because unless obviously something happens, but like that was a promise that I made myself because I wanted to continue. And then every week when I fasted, um, after that, I was building on the 21-day fast, and the spiritual authority and power was building and building and building every week. And then sometimes there would be a situation, an emergency happening with someone I loved or cared about, something big that I was calling in, and I would drop in and I would do a 3-day fast, or I would do, a 5-day fast or something like that. And what really was starting to happen was my body was used to fasting as a spiritual practice. And it allowed me to like really go into the deep realms with God and have breakthroughs that I couldn't have had if I wasn't fasting. So as that continued to build, my spiritual authority really started to build. I had all these breakthroughs. And then I was guided to start a fast in May, and we were living on the road. And at the time, we had moved out of the RV and we were just driving around in our SUV from Airbnb to Airbnb. That is the direction from God. And we were doing grid work, of course. You guys all know the story of how I was on the road for like over 2 years doing grid work full time and completely, completely in spiritual warfare, in battle the entire time I was on the road. So we were doing this grid work, moving from place to place, and it was really intense. I went to the Disney World grids during that time, and that's when I started what ended up being a 45-day fast, because we were experiencing so much warfare in all of these ways that it was essential to begin a fast. And Elijah did it with me, my beloved. He did it with me. He didn't do the 21-day fast with me in January, but we started this fast together, and he's like, I'm fasting till the breakthrough. I was like, I'm in it with you. And we fasted. We didn't have an end date. We didn't know how long we would fast for. And we fasted for 45 days. And it was really, really powerful to witness where God brought us from to where we are now and what happened during that 45-day fast. And so those two fasts, and then fasting every week. And then also I fasted during other grid work missions that I was doing and other things for my family. And these fasts resulted in financial breakthroughs where I made more money than I've ever made in my life. They resulted in healing and health breakthroughs. They resulted in loved ones that I cared about getting job offers and moving and getting places for them to, safe places for them to move. It resulted in destiny helpers and opportunities coming in. It resulted in all kinds of wild things that happened, including bringing us back here to Charleston, which we did not anticipate at all. And it also started to allow me to go deeper into my assignments because I had built that spiritual authority. So the fasting in itself and that embodied faith allowed me to then complete the Disney World grid work missions inside of the cathedral. And it's preparing me for our next mission inside the cathedral, which is also going to be really massive. So I was able to go and do the Disney World grid work, which was some of the biggest and most intense grid work I've ever done. I was able to go to Salem, Massachusetts over Halloween and do all of the grid work with my beautiful sister, Chiara Sophia. We were there and I did all of this really intense grid work with her while we were there over Halloween, restoring those grids and that land back to Christ, back to God. That was a really intense portal. I was also able to facilitate all of this really deep grid work here in Charleston for the plantations that are deeply holding this they're not anymore, holding the slave trade energies, right? All of those really deep assignments that God had, put within my mantle and within my sphere of what my assignments are and fulfillment of my mission. I was able to do those because I had been fasting and building that authority. So the fasts prepare you for your assignments, for your clients, all of the things that you're going to do for your work, however it is, being the matriarch of your family, covering your children, covering your husband, covering your family, being the prayer priestess for your family. All of this, the fasting supports. And there's also a testimony that I want to share, which is I met a woman in the spring who shared that she participated in a 40-day fast for someone that she loved who had the C word, right? We all know it's, so many people, especially after the vax are, there's a lot of that happening and all of the toxins in the world and what people are struggling with. And so the woman who had the sickness along as well as a circle of her family and friends fasted for 40 days, and after the 40 days she came back with clear scans and that C word is no longer in her body and she was healed. Okay, that is what is available. Truly, 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 truly. I want you to feel that and know that, because I'm not the only one who has testimonies of this. Like, there are so many others who have testimonies of things breaking off and breaking through only that is available during a fast when you fast. So that's something just to like keep in the back of your mind through this, because when you're fasting, there's a lot of things that can come up, right? And you can be like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I'm hungry, right? And then any of your spiritual bondage that doesn't want to go is going to convince you that it's just easier not to do it and all this stuff, right? And we have to be mindful of all of these things and also know that if you're called to it, it's like you're going to be invited into a deeper space of just revelation and flow with God. So, okay, I'm going to check the comments. Okay, let's see how to do this. Okay. Okay. Cool. You fasted yesterday in anticipation of today's circle. Yeah, you've already been experiencing a lot of attack and interference. Yeah, testify, sister, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So curious about 21 days. What does it consist of? Only water. Oh, wow, you did 11-day water fast. That's amazing, sister. Deep bow to you. Amazing. Yeah. Oh, you started a 40-day juice fast yesterday. Wow. Honoring your devotion. Yeah, and fasting is amazing for cellular health and purifying your source connection. I agree with that. Totally. It can bring you so much clarity. So, yeah, we're going to move into the notes around this. So, okay. As I shared and like everything I've been sharing, you can come into the supernatural faith wave and not fast. It's totally welcome for you to come in and receive the experience, and you get to choose if you fast or not. It's up to you. And there are different ways to do this as well. So the way that I am anchoring is the 21-day experience where there's different fasting protocols that we can do. And when you feel into this experience, I really want to invite you to go into prayer, meditate with God, and see like what is the invitation for you, because everyone's at a different place. Everyone has different bodies and everyone's in a different stage of life. Obviously, like if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, fasting is not recommended, right? And of course, before I start talking about all the fasting stuff, let me just say I'm not a medical doctor. None of this is medical advice. We all know that, but it's really important that I share that it's your sovereign decision whether you choose to fast or not and how you choose to fast, and taking responsibility for your energy, because in the end, this is like your connection with God and what you're doing and how you're honoring your body. So it's so important to listen to that and to know like your body and like how it works for you and what is actually aligned for this season of your life. And also to honor the call if you are being guided to step in to the fast. So each day over the Supernatural Faith Wave. Of course, we're going to start out with an opening ceremony this Sunday on the 111 portal. It's going to be a healing ceremony, and I'm going to open up the Supernatural Faith Wave. We're going to do some really beautiful, intentional prayer work, and I'm also going to facilitate healing within the ceremony to really support your field in receiving all of the codes, prayers, transmissions, songs. And of course, if you're fasting, it's going to be deeply supportive of that. So we're going to open that up, and that'll be on Sunday. So that'll be held on Zoom. That's one of the live experiences. Everything else besides the closing ceremony on January 31st is going to be an audio transmission held in Telegram. And these transmissions are going to be guided by God and the Holy Spirit of what is in the Most High for this supernatural faith wave, and to really deepen into what is supernatural faith and what it means to hold faith for what you're believing for, and how to receive God more in your body and allow God to heal your body, your light body, your physical body, right? All aspects of your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit, and to really allow God more deeply in to repair, to restore, and to heal your bloodline. God has shown me that during this faith wave, a lot of the work we're going to be doing is going to extend out to your bloodline. So I know all of you here are cycle breakers, you're path cutters. And so the work that you're doing inside this immersion is going to support you in breaking cycles that have been passed down through your bloodline. So it's also going to benefit your bloodline. And fasting can do that. You know, when you are the spiritual leader of your bloodline, which I know most of you are, it makes a difference. And it really allows the bloodline to be released from a lot of spiritual bondage through you as you move through the portal. So, okay, I'm going to talk about the fasting protocols now. So this fast is offering a few different protocols that I'm suggesting. And also I'm going to give some other options as well that you get to decide. So the foundational protocol is liquids only for 21 days. And this can mean a couple of things. There's like two different ways. So the first way is you choose to just do liquids only for the full 21 days, no food. So liquids only means water, it means juice, vegetable, fruit, any kind of juice. It means teas, it can mean coffee, it can mean cacao, and broth. So those are the liquids, yeah? And so like right now I'm drinking pineapple juice and sparkling water. It's like a little mocktail. It's a good time for me. It's my little treat for today. Some days you might be guided to just do water only. Some days you might be guided to do more juice. You have to it's a process of feeling into it, of like what God's guiding you through. The other option is you do liquids only from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. your time. So during the window of 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., you only do liquids and you're not eating. And you can do any of those liquids. Like I said, sometimes God might say, just do water only today. And you choose to do water only during that window. And then you can break your fast at 5 p.m. The liquids only fasting window closes, and you can break your fast and you can eat sensibly after that. And then the next day, the fast starts over again at 5 a.m. until 5 p.m. and you do liquids only. So you get to decide. Now, with the eating, if you do decide to eat, you can feel into what feels supportive for you in terms of nutrition, right? I always recommend, if you're going to eat, after you fast, eat grounding foods, eat for nutrition, right? So it's like having the nutrition that your body needs and really feeling into that of like, okay, what feels really good? Does like a piece of fish and some potatoes, some broccoli, is that grounding? Do I want to make some kind of rice dish, maybe something with like root vegetables? What is it that you need that's going to be supportive for you? Yeah. And so sensible eating is just that. It's like being mindful, being intuitive, not going into like a binge or like eating the rest of the night or something like that. But it's about being intentional. Again, the whole focus of the fast is to focus on your relationship with God, not food. And so this can oftentimes bring up a lot around your relationship with food. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on, but those are the protocols. The other piece is you can do a combination. So, say you're just guided initially to do liquids only from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then you eat, you eat after. You might be doing that for a few days, and then you might feel God calling you into, or God might instruct you to do liquids only for 2 days. And then you do liquids only for 2 days. And then after that, you're like, okay, that's complete. I'm going to do liquids only again from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay. This is a very good opportunity for you to be in your sovereign relationship with God and really lean into God's guidance. So for me right now, I started fasting a few days ago. God had me start early. I wasn't expecting that. God had me start on January 2nd. So I'm going to be fasting 9 days before the container officially opens. And this is a beautiful thing. So I'm actually fasting for 30 days, which is great. I've been eating at night. So I've been doing liquids only. And then I've been eating after 5. Sometimes, like the other night, I didn't break my fast till 8 p.m. because I was doing deeper work with God and I didn't want to break my fast, but I knew I was going to eat that night. So you get to flow with God about this and really honor your body and what's needed and be mindful, right, of what is occurring within your field and what your body's asking for. And in the beginning it is harder, right? If you've never fasted before, it might be more challenging for you because your body has like habits and expectations of like getting food at certain times. So it's about communicating to your body, like, hey, I am fasting. Like, hey, body, we're going to be fasting and we're going to, you know, be going through this experience, communicate what you need to me, right? Hydration, of course, is so important. And I have a lot of like pieces down here that I want to share around nervous system regulation, fasting during your bleed, um, depending on physical activities that you do, what kind of job you have. I'm going to get to all of that too. So I just want to share that. But really, like the opportunity of the fast is to invite God in consciously into the process because you're not meant to do this alone. It's this sacred covenant of relationship, and it is not a punishment. So and I wrote that post, which if you haven't checked it out, I recommend it, around resistance to fasting, because if you have, if you haven't broken agreement with punishment yet, which I have a free activation on my YouTube about that, you can check it out. This is something to look at because especially if any part of you has ever punished yourself for eating, if you've had any connection to like an eating disorder, which I have, so I'm very familiar with that, this can come up. So we want to be really loving and gentle with ourselves and know that like you don't have to punish yourself and like do only liquids only, and then you're totally dysregulated and all this stuff because you feel like you're not going to get the breakthrough you need unless you only do liquids only for 21 days. No, this is about tuning in and staying in connection with God of what God's guiding you to do and knowing like it's okay. The other thing that I was praying about last night and this morning is another option here, which I want to share, which is if you have health conditions, if you have a strenuous job where you're doing a lot of like physical work, like, it's funny. I was talking to Elijah about this because Elijah, he's a beautiful, beautiful body worker and he's started doing body work again back here in Charleston. And when I was talking about the fast, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do the 21-day fast. I have to eat with all the body work. Sometimes he does like 5 massages a day, right? And he's doing really deep work. So he fasts on his days off when he's called to fast. He can't fast while he's working on clients in that way because it's for him, it's not aligned for him, right? So I know there's many beautiful body workers that are part of this community. So I just want to speak into like if the 21 days of doing this feels too much and it doesn't feel like it's aligned for you with your lifestyle and your system, and fasting's new to you, you can try different protocols. So if you wanted to do like 3 days of the 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., you could try that out. If you wanted to do 1 day a week, even, right? If you wanted to do maybe like the days that you're not working, you fast on those days, right? And then otherwise you eat. If you want to do that, you can, right? This is totally up to you. It's totally up to you. It's totally your sovereign choice. And you get to really decide how deep you want to go and do you want to stretch yourself. So I will share though that it is powerful to stretch yourself, not beyond your capacity where you're so dysregulated that you can't function, right? That's not what this is. And if you do it in a way that's aligned with God, that's not going to happen. I've never experienced it. After all of my time fasting, like I've never experienced it where I was so dysregulated I couldn't function. That did not happen because I was taking care of myself. And I have some best practices that I'm going to share with you around that. So I just want to extend that out to you that if you're like, I don't know if I can do the full 21 days, but also like be real with yourself of like, is it resistance or are there actual like, foundational reasons of like, oh, okay, I don't think I can because of this. Like, that's not going to be supportive for me. That's different than just not wanting to do it because it feels edgy or it feels like you're resisting it because it's your bondage that doesn't want you to break through, right? You have to use the Holy Spirit and discernment around this to really feel into what's actually going on here, you know? So, okay, I'm gonna check the comments here. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, your cycle is also an important to factor in. Yes, totally. I'm going to talk about that. I love this invitation to sacred decision around fasting, free from fear. Yes, totally, sister. Yeah. Yeah. You know, this is so important because all of us are on the path of becoming sovereign. And I'm not here to be like, you 1 days or you have like, no, absolutely not. Like, there's like tiers of this, right? Like, if you want to go all in hardcore, liquid 21 day, whew, like I have not done that. I have not done a full 21-day liquid fast. Will I one day? Perhaps. Maybe it's this year. I don't know. Like, we're not there yet, right? I'm going to listen to God's instruction and I'm going to do it, right? What has felt good to me before is tuning in, listening to God and deciding, and also having grace and compassion and trusting the process with God. So what works for me might not be for you or for her or whatnot, right? Everybody has a different experience. So this is your opportunity to try fasting out if fasting's new for you, or if you've done this before, if it's comfortable for you and you want to stretch yourself, Sanctuary of Sophia is going to be holding you, and my prayers are going to be covering you during this ministry, to pray for, the highest outcome for you from this fast. I know it can happen when we stretch ourselves. And oftentimes, right before you want to break fast, that's when the miracle shift starts to happen, right? It's like that's the faith, right? Because if you get right up to the breaking point and you still have faith, I have so many stories of this where I chose to have faith instead of giving in or feeling like it wasn't going to happen, and then a miracle happened. And yeah, it's just happened so many times. So what I recognize is usually like in the window right before I'm about to break fast, my body, and I'm going to talk a lot more about this in the immersion. So there's so much more I'm going to share about fasting and techniques of how to really like work with the bondage that's breaking off of you while you're fasting. And I'm going to talk about all of that in the immersion. We'd be here all day if I was sharing all of that, but there are these moments where it's like you choose to breathe and drink water instead of going to food, and you choose to pray and lean in with God. And that is what breaks the bondage. It's a choice point moment. So you get to choose. This is your beautiful sacred covenant with God, and you get to choose. So, okay. All right. So I want to talk about some other things here. Okay. So if you're feeling resistance around fasting, like even now as I'm talking about this, and it's like it can feel like, expansive, and also there can be resistance, and that's totally natural. Um, if your body is fighting the fast too, again, like you have to really honor your body and know, like, okay, my body needs to eat tonight, or okay, my body feels okay, and I'm gonna, continue this liquids until I hear otherwise. So it's really important to rest during the fast, and it's really important to stay grounded. So I have found that, especially if you're in a liquids only portal, drinking broth, like vegetable broth, or if you eat meat, like, bone broth, it can be really grounding because you're connecting into like a different dimension of frequency within the broth. Like root vegetables in the form of a broth is more grounding than like juice, right? So you can ground with like broth. That's a really grounding thing that I do during fasting. It's also important to be mindful of like sugar and caffeine if you drink coffee or like black tea, caffeinated tea, just being mindful of your how much sugar you're taking in, how that works with your system, with your nervous system, and just being mindful of all of that as well, because that can be ungrounding if you're not eating. And you want to really take care of your body, stretching, like gentle stretching. I still work out when I'm fasting. I'm not doing like, high intensive cardio workouts. I'm just like lifting weights, walking, stretching, things like that. I still work out when I fast, but I also take time to rest and recover when I need to. Connecting with the earth, of course, as always, is really supportive when you are fasting. Laying on the earth, sitting up against a tree, connecting, anchoring in with the earth, really, really grounding, supportive. Salt baths, of course, very grounding. And, if you do decide to eat and break fast after 5 p.m., root vegetables, right? Grounding, nourishing foods. Also keeping your nervous system regulated, noticing when you become dysregulated. Do you need more water? Do you need to lay down? Maybe you need some electrolytes, right? Tuning into these things. You're in a very supernatural space when you're fasting like this, especially if you commit to like a longer term fast. It starts to open up, right? So the experience you have in one day of fasting is going to be different than 3 days, then 5 days, then 21 days, because like I said, the fast builds. So it builds on the presence and the devotion. So my day one experience of my fast on January 2nd, like I'm in a much different space right now, 4 days later. So it builds, right? So, um, okay. Right? Listening to your body, allowing the Holy Spirit to lead you is what's most important. And also giving yourself grace, like it's okay. God's not going to be mad at you if you break fast early, but it's also about like being obedient and listening to the instruction of God, because God knows what you need for your breakthrough, and God will tell you how to get there. And if doing like say like you're going to do liquids only for 3 days or something, if that's going to support the breakthrough because you're going to have breakthrough and revelation during that portal, and God knows that, God's going to guide you to do that. And then it's up to you to decide, am I going to do this? Do I trust God? Right. So it's a deep trust fall with God too around these things. And also with yourself, and trusting the wisdom of your body and what you're capable of, and knowing how to honor your body in the process. So, like I said, usually the first few days are the hardest, because you're adjusting. And, during my 45-day fast, I mean, it just became like normal. And then it took me a while actually to like start eating again during the day, because I was like, I'm not hungry. It's interesting how little food we actually need in certain ways. Um, and also, again, getting the right nutrition is important. So I do want to talk about fasting while you bleed, because it's an important piece. And this is something that again, your sovereign decision. You know your cycle, you know what your bleeds are like, right? I know a lot of women who need to eat like red meat and eating that like on their bleed because it's really important for them to receive that, right? So, there's no restrictions on food, by the way. Like if you decide to eat after 5 p.m., like you can eat whatever you want, as long as it's sensible within reason. You're not binging or, going into like an overeating type of thing. Um, so with your bleed, if you come up on your bleed and it doesn't feel good to fast, you can take a pause. You don't have to fast. If you want to, if you still want to, if you feel called to, then you can, right? It's really such a dance, and no one can answer that question except for you. So I do recommend taking extra good care of yourself while you are on your bleed. And God may guide you to fast liquids only on your bleed. That may happen. That hasn't happened. I mean, I've fasted before on my bleed, but I've never um done liquids only on my bleed. So I can't speak to that. Um, it's just important to really honor your cycle and honor what you need. And know that like if you have a big thing coming up or you're doing something that's going to require a lot of energy, be mindful, prepare, take inventory of that. And again, just consult God on these things. If you have something coming up, if you're traveling, when I traveled to Salem in October, I had to fly there, and I was like, there's no way I'm fasting tomorrow because I normally fast like every Wednesday. And I was like, there's no freaking way I'm fasting in the airport. Like, I am not doing that. I'm going to be way ungrounded. I hate airports. It's already so intense for me at the airport. So I moved it back and I fasted on Tuesday before I left. And so, you know, that's what I did. So again, it's just like choosing the flow with God and like what feels good for you. And like if you know that you have something coming up that really requires a lot, just consulting God and sharing. And again, you get to choose. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it for like the overview in terms of that. Of course, like you are so welcome to come if you are not called to fast. And there is no judgment. Like I feel this is so important for me to say right now. Please know, sister, there is no judgment if you're like, it's not my time to fast right now. I respect you. I love you, and it's okay. You are still welcome to come into this experience, and you don't have to feel bad. And you don't have to beat yourself up. It's such an initiation to go into a spiritual fast, and you'll know if it's for you. And if you want to try it out, if you're like, I'm kind of inspired, I'm going to try it one day. Cool. See what happens, right? Like, have fun with this. We're going to have fun, y'all. It's going to be fun. I'm pumped. I can't wait to see what God's going to do. I have an awesome like ceremony that I am mapping out right now for us on Sunday. It's going to be epic. I've got lots of fun stuff planned, and I'm going to be praying for you. You're going to be able to put your prayers into the immersion. You're going to connect with each other, share your breakthroughs, share your stories. Just get ready because regardless if you're fasting or not in this experience, you are going to experience miracles. There's no way you can't in a faith wave. This architecture of the faith wave was built off of the miracle frequency when I was in Florida last year. And I have some testimonies I'm going to be sharing that I've never shared before that I'm going to share inside this immersion. They're not Facebook appropriate, they're not YouTube appropriate. It needs to be held in the sanctuary. So these testimonies are also going to provide you a lot of codes that are going to break you out of bondage that has got to go. So this is an invitation to come in more deeply with God and to really get clear on what you're breaking through. Like what are you wanting to break through? What are you calling in? What are you wanting to align with? This is going to be an attunement to supernatural faith. I'm going to be sharing a lot about that and how to attune to the supernatural frequency of God and to allow it to move through your life. And we're going to be talking also how to, move through how to break off bondage that doesn't want to go, that may be controlling you through mind control, through implants, that is a bloodline piece that you've recognized through your grandmother, your mother, and now you and your sisters, and you're like, fuck this, I want to clear this. Excuse my language. But it's like, cool, I want to clear this. Like, what can I do? God, show me what I need to do. I'm going to do it. And again, this is not performance based. The other thing that I didn't talk about yet that's going to be a theme within this immersion is the holy daughter frequency and attuning to the holy daughter identity of being a beloved daughter of God, which you all are, and seeing yourself as that. And we're going to go deeper into that as well. And really what it means to be held by God and knowing that God is here to support you and I'm standing with you for your breakthrough. This is the time to lean in and to really get clear and ask God for what you want and to ask God to show you how to get there. And I'm going to teach you that in this immersion. There's going to be a lot of powerful moments where you get to choose, and the energy of this container is going to support you through it. So this is a Sanctuary of Sophia experience. You're going to be held in the Temple of Sanctuary of Sophia, and you're going to experience what it's like to actually be held within the medicine of the Holy Mother Sanctuary. And it's going to be so beautiful. So I'm really excited, and I am so honored to have you join. And if you know a sister who is praying for a miracle, who wants to go deeper with God, who is really calling in for massive shifts and transformation in her life, share this with her. Share it on your social media, invite her to the experience. This is a free experience. It won't be free after this. It's going to become a paid offering in the Sanctuary of Sophia Medicine Library. So this is the opportunity to lean in. There's going to be so much value. It's actually kind of crazy that this is a free experience, but I'm so here for it because I really, really want as many women as possible to experience the supernatural energy of God, because it changed my life. And if there is a way forward with God that doesn't have to be in pain and suffering, it gets to be fun and easy and light. And yeah, it's going to be great. So, okay. I'm just going to check to see if there's any more questions. And yeah, so the other thing too is if you are feeling called and you know you're ready to go deeper and you're ready to really, really drop into your transformation, I am opening up 3 VIP spaces to work with me privately during the immersion for 3 weeks. And these are going to be really, really special private experiences where we're going to be doing field work on your field to break bondage. I'm going to be intercessing prayer for you, as well as supporting you with deliverance work or whatever else God is bringing in for you. So it's going to be really, really sweet, really special. So if you are called to working with me during this experience privately, because I'm not going to be offering mentorship within this experience other than through the transmissions and ceremonies, reach out to me, send me a DM or an email, and I can share with you those details. And yeah, we can go deeper together. It's going to be a wild, wild time during this immersion. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to begin the immersion. Our opening ceremony starts on Sunday, and that will be a healing ceremony. And the replay, of course, will be available to you. And then, yeah, the Telegram space opens in 2 days from now. So on the 8th, if you have signed up, of course, this is free, but you do need to sign up for it. So I'll put the link below. You will get an email on the 8th that will give you access to the Telegram space. And that'll also include the bonus transmission that I dropped in there the other day, where, yeah, it's really gonna set the tone. And that's even before we start. So thank you so much. I'm excited for us. And yeah, trust yourself. Trust if God is calling you into this experience, it's because God is laying out the path for you of miracles. And like, what are you asking for? And what are you willing to like stretch yourself for in order to have what you want? Right? Spiritual growth, ascension, it all comes from stepping outside of our comfort zones and going for it. And even like connecting into deeper levels of faith and learning how God communicates to you, you know? So, yeah, I'm happy to be here with you, sister. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for being on this journey with me. It's truly an honor to do this with you. I know that this is going to change our lives forever. There's no way it can't. And oh, one last thing. You can come in and you can fast for a family member. You can fast for a loved one. I'm fasting for a lot of my family members and loved ones. You know, I wrote out my intentions of this fast. That's something you can start to feel into and what are you fasting for? We're going to go deeper into this in the opening ceremony with intention setting, but I am fasting for breakthrough for a lot of people that I love, and it works. That's all I'm going to say. It works. It works. Sometimes I fasted and like someone got a miracle the next day. Like literally, like it's wild how it happens. So if you have loved ones that maybe aren't able to do this kind of work and you're their spiritual leader, you are the matriarch of your bloodline, you are doing this for your loved ones, your children, your siblings, your parents, your spouse, your clients. Like I'm also fasting for y'all. Like I have it in part of my prayers that all of you who join this with me are also blessed by my fast as well. So it's like it all builds and it all flows together. So I love you. Thank you so much for being here and walking this path with me. And this will be up for the replay. And yeah, if you haven't signed up yet, sign up. And yeah, we're going to get started in a couple days. So thank you so much. And I will